All right, so this week our topic, we are jumping right in with social media. And in the past, I've used Twitter and some other things, but I thought it might be interesting to try using LinkedIn this semester to help you build a professional social media presence. Because people don't usually think of social media in terms of academic or professional use. So that's how we're going to use it here. And I think it'll be something you find very beneficial. So for that purpose, we're going to use something called LinkedIn. Now, you probably already heard of LinkedIn. You may already have a LinkedIn account. And so if you do already have one, feel free to use that. And the tips and tricks you'll learn here will help you beef it up to epic levels. So let me do a screen share and show you the assignment. When you go into Moodle, there'll be a link on the assignment to a Google Doc. And this is the doc that will open up. The objective here is to learn to use social media in a professional and academic, as a professional and academic networking tool. And so the deadline for this particular assignment, there's two pieces of it. There'll be a deadline to get the assignment up, to get the profile up. That's due at the end of this week, okay? On Sunday at midnight, at the end of the week. And then there'll be another deadline that you'll have to watch on Discord for or on the course schedule, because you're going to be doing things like adding contacts, seeking out recommendations from people that you know, maybe even professors, to help build your LinkedIn presence. And so why are we going to use LinkedIn? LinkedIn actually happens to be one of the largest professional networking tools out there. I have a really good friend, and he got a job at Google because a Google headhunter was looking for someone with his skills. And he came up on the list and they asked him to interview. And that's quite a process. That's a whole other story. But he got his job at Google as a software engineer because of his LinkedIn profile. My own son has actually been approached by quite a number of recruiters over the years for different things because of his LinkedIn profile in the industry that he's in. So if you work at building up something, it could be a really good tool for career advancement, for all kinds of connections. And you might think, well, like, I don't have any job experience that's any good right now, or I don't know a lot of things, or I haven't finished my degree. Totally okay. All right. There's going to be a video here about LinkedIn for students. And one of the neat things about copying this into your own account is you can check things off when you take a look at them. And so LinkedIn has some very valuable resources for students that are available. And I'll just let you know, I've been teaching college now for almost 26 years. And I got my job because of 1 year of work experience and 1 year of volunteer experience, plus my college degree. So volunteer experience does count. I was working at a church and a family history library. Did that for a year, helped people with computers, and put it down on my resume. So count everything. Anyhow, so we're going to build out your profile, and there's some good resources here. These two, how to network on LinkedIn is useful. How to use LinkedIn resources effectively. There's two articles here that'll give you some background on why this is a good tool, social networking tool to use. So suggested steps. Okay, now if you already have a LinkedIn profile, skip step one because you already have a LinkedIn profile. But if you don't, go to the sign up page and follow the steps. It'll kind of walk you through some things to create a new profile. And then step two, follow the LinkedIn profile checklist. Now, this is a PDF file. It's actually really clear and easy to use. It gives you an example of what a good profile should include. All right. And so you can just kind of go down and look down this list and add different things. And then once you've got all the required elements that are in the rubric, and I'll jump to that in a minute, you're going to submit your assignment in 3 ways. I know that sounds redundant, but there are 3 different ways, 3 different channels to put this out to. So the first one is you're going to go to the assignment and you're just going to type in your LinkedIn URL into Moodle. And I'll show you where to find that in just a minute. It's just going to be a text box. You just type it in. You don't have to put any commentary. Boom, let it go. The second one is you're going to post to your LinkedIn URL to your Discord team channel. And you might be thinking, well, what's a team channel? Well, you have probably, you may not have been assigned one yet, but in Discord, you're going to see some team channels that you might not be able to see yet until you get assigned to one. But what team channels are doing is they're taking the class and breaking it down into smaller groups of 8 to 10. That way you don't feel like you have to respond to 30 or 40 people. You just have 8 to 10 people you have to respond to, and that is much easier to manage. So on your team channel, what I'd like you to do is post your link, but also make a comment. Don't just throw in a link, okay? Make a comment about the experience. Like, are you noticing anything? Did you find any good resources? We'll continue to build on this week by week for the next several weeks. But for right now, just put a comment in there about what you thought about LinkedIn. And then finally, you have to send me a request on LinkedIn to connect. So that way I can look at your channel. Now, let me jump over to my LinkedIn profile. Oops, that's not it. Here's my LinkedIn account. When I log in, this is what I see. I follow lots and lots of people. And if you go, once you're in, you go up to me, you can go view profile. And this is my actual LinkedIn profile. So my link up here, one of the things it's going to ask you to do is create a custom URL. And so my custom URL is pretty easy. It's linkedin.com/in/Debbie K. That's one of the advantages of being an early adopter is you get the name you want. But you could use your first name, last name. Make it something professional though. Don't make it like, I don't know, linkedin.com/in/fluffy bunny. That's a little weird. This is an academic and a professional networking site. So let's treat it that way. And you're going to send me, let's see. So there's these other people. I'm going to go to one. I actually know Christina. And when you want to connect, you hit connect. All right. And so that'll send me a thing saying, hey, you want to connect. You're going to submit the link in Moodle. That's in the class website. So that's so that you can have it assigned there, get a grade there. And then you're going to post it to your team channel. When you get assigned your team channel, you'll see your name there. And then you're going to send me an invitation to connect. So let's see what you have to include. There's only 10 things, okay? A professional photo. So, and by that, I don't mean go get a, pay a lot of money and go get somebody to do it. There are some tips. If you look up, how do I take a good LinkedIn picture? There'll be lots of tips on how to do that. A headline, and that PDF file kind of goes through all of these. A professional summary. So this is kind of a little bit about who you are and what you're all about. You can see on here, but the about section here, this is kind of about me. And then I've got my experience, which I have a lot of experience. And then I've got my education. And then I've got the volunteering stuff I did. It's going to ask you to list out skills. So I have a lot of that. It's going to ask you to find some recommendations. And that's one that you can put off for a week or so, because it might take, like, I wouldn't put off asking for them. I'm going to put off grading those. And then if you've done any publications, there's lots of things you can put here. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to end up building out a profile. Now, keep in mind, I've been working on mine for a really long time. What's really nice about it though, when you need a resume, there's a resume format. So you can just like print off your LinkedIn profile in a really nice resume format. So check down through these things. Try to add at least 5 people you actually know this week. And when you put in that you're from Victor Valley College, like you add that as a place, or from the college, whatever colleges you're affiliated with, people will start popping up as recommendations. And so if you know them, send them a connection. See if you can get 5 added by the end of the week of real people you actually know. I have a lot of people on LinkedIn, and I actually know all of them through either work connections or personal connections or school connections. There's some actual connection there. That's the power of LinkedIn. And then think, who could you get to recommend you? So this week, I'm going to ask you to just try to get one person as a recommendation to give you it's kind of like a job reference. Next week, we'll start building out the networking piece a little bit more, and we'll get a little more detailed into this. That's what your project is for this week. That's the social media project. We're going to get our LinkedIn profile set up. We're going to get filled out. We're going to start the networking process.